Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, depending on where you are. Thank you for joining us on this live stream. And we've got a lot of interesting information for you today in our YouTube live stream. We're going live sooner than before, but if you're wondering why are you going live on different times and dates, well, you need to be subscribing to our YouTube channel to figure out when we actually go live. So I've got good news and I've got bad news today. The good news is we'll be jumping to our audience's questions and comments on our live stream quicker because there's less updates from the IRCC and provinces. The bad news is it's been relatively quiet on the immigration up front, so the updates are scattered and not as exciting as before, but we'll try to make it exciting. We're going to cover the latest updates on programs where you don't even need a high school diploma to apply for your PR, clarification on study permits, who needs an attestation letter, pilot renewals, extensions, the latest construction boom happening across Canada, and how the provincial nominee programs and the new pilot have been rolled out to address this industry and the shortage of labor for the construction industry. And of course, some updated IRCC instructions for officers and some other interesting data and statistics. I'll also let you know on the top 3 provincial nominee programs in Canada for business entrepreneurs and professionals, and review the worst 3 PNPs in all of Canada for professionals and business persons. So we'll just list them. We're not going to go in depth on these PNPs, but we'll just validate again who are the top 3 and which ones are the worst 3 in all of Canada. Expect nothing else other than the exposed truth, just like the rest of our videos on our YouTube channel. And of course, we're on the road, folks. We're here in Nova Scotia visiting our partners and clients across the province. So that's exciting. Seeing a lot of people coming in and commenting. Yeah, Safa, Mumtaz, NVKS. We'll get to you guys right after. Quick introduction. Who am I? My name is Reza. It would be rude if I didn't introduce myself. I work for Ingway Canada, licensed immigration practitioner. Our office specializes in helping businesses and people and families move across various borders. Why are we posting this video? Well, they're made for the purpose of sharing our hands-on immigration knowledge with our worldwide audience, including but not exclusive to clients, existing ones, potential new applicants, and immigration consultancies and agencies. And if you're thinking about immigrating, we're here to help. Get a free email assessment for eligible applicants only by filling out the form down below. And of course, if you're an active immigration practitioner, we can assist you with outsourcing your back office operations, including assessments of your applicants, processing, pre and post landing support. We are a global mobility solution provider. Don't forget that. Many more options than just Canada. Trust me. And we've got great news. We're going to be going to Vietnam this year, Hong Kong, China, Los Angeles, and San Francisco, participating at key events from March 2024 to May 2024. So reach out to us if you are a potential B2B partner or applicant investor in any of these regions. And of course, our latest approval cases, we just received an approval for one of our clients, intra-company transfer, LMI exempt code C61, new startup ICTs. The approval came, hold on, believe it or not, in 9 calendar days, which is 6 business days, which was processed in the embassy located in New Delhi. Why was our client's ICT approved so fast and your ICT wasn't? It's simple. Our client's ICT application was a genuine, meaning they had visited Canada, met key stakeholders in their industry, had money to invest and deposited to Canada, and we outlined the significant benefit for the country based on key government data and documentations. So we didn't leave anything vague or missing for the officer to start questioning. Between all the different quality applications of ICT the embassy receives, well, it was obvious the high quality ones do stand out. We also received a closed work permit approval for a high priority occupation for one of our clients in 2 weeks from the embassy in Abu Dhabi, which is one of the worst embassies, Canadian embassies overseas. Yeah, that's true. Besides Poland. And again, it's all a matter of submitting quality applications, folks, for your clients. Sometimes you just can't force an immigration program onto your client's profile. Maybe it's not the perfect fit. It just won't work. It has to be perfect. And that's when you get good results. Okay, let's jump in. Here's the updates from IRCC, Provincial Nominee Programs, and all sorts of other updates that during the past, let's say 1 or 2 weeks. Well, there's some statistics announced by IRCC, temporary residence applications such as study permits, work permits, and so forth. So there was 1,089,600 study permit applications processed last year in 2023. Huge, right? And this is not renewals. This is just brand new study permits. So whether they applied from inside Canada to convert or from outside. So that's a big number. So that was about like 100,000, 150,000 more than they did the previous year. There was 1,646,300 work permits processed last year in 2023 compared to 1,143,000. So there was about 500,000 more work permits processed last year compared to the previous year. So this could be more PGWPs, right? Because there was also a lot of LMIAs, a lot of LMI exempt startup visa applications. So you name it, spousal open work permits, right? And this statistic did not include renewals. Permanent residency applications, so it was over 500,000. That means close to 500,000 permanent residency decisions were issued in 2023. So if you were one of those folks, well, congrats. It was about 40,000 more than they did the year before. So they were close to their target, but very close to their target last year. Citizenships from April to December last year, the IRCC processed 293,000 new Canadian citizens compared to 279,100 the previous year. Let's look at where all the immigrants went. This is an interesting statistic. We're going to post this on our website after this video. So in 2023, the most number of new immigrants actually settled in Ontario with 199,297. The second province was BC, third was Quebec, fourth was Alberta. Yes, we know it's booming. And fifth, surprisingly, was Saskatchewan. Well, they have a very pro-immigration province. And then right after comes Manitoba. Surprisingly, only 12,303 people went to Nova Scotia and settled from the newcomers. So it is disappointing because it's one of our favorite provinces. And then New Brunswick, Newfoundland, Prince Edward Island. So the Atlantic 4 provinces have the lowest number. Obviously, lower population, lower processing. Hence, small size, smaller number of new immigrants coming in. That's very natural. So who doesn't need a provincial attestation letter with all these new rules that IRCC came up with overnight about study permits? Here's a clarification again of who does not need the attestation letter from the province when studying an undergraduate program. Okay, so if you're going to preschool, primary school, or secondary school up to grade 12, right? Or you're studying master's or a doctoral degree, like a PhD. Of course, you don't need an attestation letter. Or you've entered Canada and the following situation applies to you. You're applying for a study permit extension, right? Extension. So you were here before. You have a work permit. You're a temporary resident who is visiting or exchange student studying at a DLI. You're a temporary resident who has completed a course program of a study that is a prerequisite for a DLI. So that means, in layman's terms, you're applying to convert from a visitor visa to a study permit from inside the country. And what that means is you don't need the attestation letter. So big news, guys. If you want to skip the whole attestation letter, convert from inside. So arrive with an ETA or visitor visa, convert within the first 6 months of your arrival. Don't forget. And that's only if you complete a prerequisite to meet the conditional letter of acceptance that you have. And of course, if you need help with that, we're here. And And of course, if you have a temporary resident permit, which is valid for at least 6 months or more, or you're the family member of a foreigner who lives in Canada and has a study permit or a work permit. So if you're a dependent of somebody who has a valid study permit that is valid for 6 months or more, or a valid work permit that is 6 months or more, then you do not need the provincial attestation letter. Okay, some other news. IRCC announced a new VAC visa application center opening in Lisbon, Portugal, as of February 26th. And this is a brand new location, adding to the 163 locations in 110 countries that they already have. Great. How it affects you, unless you're in Portugal, not much. Agri-food pilot. Okay, if you don't know what Agri-food pilot is, it is a federal program that allows specific occupations working in specific industries such as greenhouses, nurseries, and farms, and food processing, meat processing plants to apply for PR. So these are low-skilled laborers working in these very specific industries who have the opportunity to apply for PR with very low requirements. So it's called the Agri-food pilot program. It's really great. So they've updated it as of February 10th. And what are the updates, right? So when you submit a PR application, you can choose between the different scenarios. So you do not need educational requirements if you have a job offer, okay? And you meet the rest of the requirements. This means that applicants without a high school diploma can technically apply for PR under this pilot program if they've worked on an eligible farm or food processing plant and they have the minimum work experience inside Canada. This is probably one of the only programs out there in Canada that allows that. And keep in mind, you do need to meet the rest of the eligibility criteria for this specific program. So don't just apply without checking it out. Here are the scenario changes for your clients inside Canada under the Agri-food pilot program and its updated changes. No job offer needed from eligible farm or food processing plants, but applicant has to have minimum work experience and education in addition to the language. So the farm or the food process is not giving them a job offer anymore, right? But they've met the language exam. They have the 1 year minimum work experience and they have a high school diploma. The second scenario, your applicant has a job offer from wherever they're working now or are going to work. They also have the minimum 1 year work experience in this industry, and they have no high school diploma, zero. And they also have a language exam score of CLB4. They can also apply for their PR. So applicants from outside Canada, the conditions have not changed for them under the Agri-food pilot, but for people inside Canada, you've got a choice now. People with high school diplomas, people without high school diplomas, people with job offers, people without job offers, right? Job offers means this is after you've gained the 1 year work experience because the employer literally has to renew it, right? We plan, so let's look at the Rural Northern Immigration Pilot, RNIP. It's being renewed temporarily and it's going to be renewed permanently. So this is a quote from the website. We plan to extend the timeline for communities to recommend rural and northern immigration pilot candidates until July 31st, 2024, middle of this year. We're working with communities and we'll update when we have more details. Okay, this program will most likely become permanent this year and with some slight changes to it, like adding a Francophone stream or prioritizing it. How do I know this? Well, it's simple. I don't know the Prime Minister. I have no connections in IRCC. I just read the Future of the Immigration Strategy report published by the IRCC end of last year. Folks, the information is out there. Just need to know how to grab it. That's it. There's no crystal ball. Okay, let's talk about the construction boom. There's a construction boom in Canada, and it's been reflected in new provincial nominee programs for skilled and lower skilled workers or semi-skilled workers. We all know there's a housing crisis here, and hence a construction boom is also happening in many regions of the country. Besides the BC Provincial Nominee Program, which launched their construction occupation stream as part of their PNP last year, allowing construction workers and trades to apply for their PR if they meet the points and eligibility. However, Nova Scotia also launched their own critical construction worker pilot program as part of its PNP. This is a great program, better than the rest. You may ask why. Well, the answer is simple. There's no points in the Nova Scotia PNP, unlike other programs. There's no ITA, and so on, and we'll cover that. As long as you meet the eligibility criteria, you're in. No other province can claim this. Only Nova Scotia. That's right, folks. Here's the full list of occupations under this new pilot in Nova Scotia, which is a direct PR stream for applicants overseas or inside Canada who have an offer of employment from an eligible employer. I'm not going to go through the whole list right away, but it's construction laborers are there, material handlers, and everything in between, all the trades, every single occupation you could imagine is here. So carpenters, electricians, welders, contractors, home builders, construction manager, heavy equipment operator, residential, commercial installer, plasters, concrete finishers, crane operator, other trades and helpers, you name it, it's there. Okay. And I'll tell you why we like this program. And I give you a hint. Okay. This is why we love this program. No points-based system, right? So that's pretty important, folks. Because most people in these types of lower skilled jobs, it's very difficult to gain points. And that's why the BC PNP is more difficult. But in Nova Scotia, there's no points. There's no PNP application fee. It's free until you're nominated before you apply for your PR to the IRCC, the federal stage where you pay your PR fees. But at the provincial level, even when you get your nomination, you don't spend a dime on the provincial fees. High school is not mandatory. Okay, listen to this. High school is not mandatory under this construction pilot in Nova Scotia if you have specialized training in your previous occupation or sometime in your work history. So you may be completely uneducated, but you have the minimum work experience, 1 year more. You're within the age range, Nova Scotia, because they always have an age range in Nova Scotia. I don't know why, but yeah, I guess they want more people who are more proactive and not in their 90s. But if you are in your 90s and you're watching this YouTube live stream, good for you. So there's no high school diploma required if you have specialized training. And low-skilled jobs such as construction laborers and material handlers are included in the occupation list, like I mentioned, unlike BC and other provinces, which don't have the lower skilled or semi-skilled occupations for construction. Nova Scotia has included both types of construction categories such as trades, high skilled, semi-skilled, and the lowest. And you only need a language requirement of either CLB4 for the lower skill tier 4 or 5, or a Canadian language benchmark of 5, which is an IELTS of 555, 4 for reading for the higher skilled trades in construction, and the tier NOC code 0123 under the construction worker pilot program. So it's called the construction. What was it called? The critical. What was this fancy name they had? What was it? The critical construction worker pilot. Yeah, there you go. Okay, there's a IRCC program delivery update that allows IRCC officers to assess entrepreneurial work permit applications. So previously, IRCC officers would be challenging and refusing provincial nominee candidates under the entrepreneur streams who were applying for their work permits to come and start or run their business. Their challenges were based on significant benefit to Canada, the province. So the officers weren't convinced, like, how is this of any benefit? You're opening up a furniture store, right? And I've seen these cases, folks. The IRCC has since updated these instructions, and officers are not going to challenge them as before. Not meaning they're never going to challenge them, but it's not going to be the wild, wild west, because very contradictory. The province says you're good to go, and then the federal government says you're not good to go. Mixed signals, right? I mean, that's pretty much IRCC all the way, right? Canadian standards, double standards. Here's a quick screenshot I'm putting in the article that we're going to post, and I'll just read from that. I'll quote from this update that was published on February 16th. Provinces and territories have amended their work permit support letters to demonstrate that they're satisfied the applicant applying for an entrepreneur work permit has or will create genuine businesses, has viable business plan, and has demonstrated that the business will create or maintain significant cultural, social, or economic benefit for the province or territory in which they plan on residing. With these assurances that the significant benefit test has been met, The officers can focus on Section R200 requirements, including the requirement that the applicant intends and has the ability to perform the work sought, and that the foreign national will leave Canada at the end of their period of authorized stay. The instructions below have been updated with details for officers on significant benefit review undertaken by the provinces and territories and the support letter issued as a result. There you go, unquote. So if you don't know how entrepreneurial provincial nominee programs work, it's first you enter your name into the expression of interest. You're invited, you do a net worth audit, you submit your documents, you submit your provincial nominee application fee, except Nova Scotia. You do the interview, whether remote or in person, depends on the province. If they accept it, you sign a business performance agreement, and then they issue you you become a provincial nominee candidate, and they issue you a letter of support to apply for your work permit to come start or run that business that maybe you're buying or you're planning to start. And then with that, you apply to the IRCC to convert to your work permit, whether you're from outside, you're sitting outside Canada or inside. And in those situations, IRCC was challenging them. And there was a lot of court cases that came to light with that. So IRCC has sort of, adjusted that with the provinces. They're now on the same page. The basically letter of support for the work permit has been updated to include more details, so the IRCC officers are more satisfied with how the provinces are assessing their candidates and issuing these letters. And then the provincial nomination only comes later when you've run the business for that minimum duration. And remember, Saskatchewan, Manitoba are the shortest, and then the rest are 12 months, and Ontario, BC are 18 to 20 months before being audited and meeting all the business performance agreements and applying and getting your nomination before you apply for your PR and your dependence PR. Okay, let's see what's happening, right? Let's see who are the top 3 favorite PR programs for low-skilled applicants. Okay, this is very important, folks. Okay, these are our favorites. So this is just our preference. We like the caregiver pilot program, especially the one for elders and seniors with medical requirements. We love the Agri-food pilot program now with the changes happening, and the Nova Scotia provincial pilot for construction workers. These are our favorite 3 low-skilled direct PR programs for so far. Let's see. As of February 2024, we're validating the worst PNP programs we've announced previously in our other videos from our experience. And again, this is just an editorial. Our personal opinion is the worst PNPs in Canada. Drum roll. Number 1, you guessed it, Ontario, taking first prize in this category. If I could give Ontario all the positions of the worst PNPs, I would. Okay, it is the worst. I have the right to criticize it because I live in Ontario. It is the worst PNP in all of Canada. Second, Quebec takes second prize. Yes, I've lived in Quebec before as well. And BC taking third prize. I like BC for professionals, tech engineers, media under their tech program, or maybe their healthcare occupations. But if you're in any other occupation, it is a death wish. I'm sorry, but that's what I have to announce. And who are the best 3 provincial nominee programs for entrepreneurs and professionals? Well, you guessed it. Nova Scotia, no points, no fees, no ITAs. The best of the best. Number 2, Alberta. They're launching a new hospitality and tourism stream, which is going to be unlike any other province. As others are closing their doors for this industry, Alberta is opening them up as of March 1st. Saskatchewan is number 3 in our top 3 best PNPs for PR. The only province where work permit as a student counts up to a certain point, 6 months. No English requirement for entrepreneurs, the only province. And family ties can help boost your profile for your direct PR chances. If you like immigration hacks, folks, creative immigration solutions, or key analysis and the exposed truth, let's say the unedited raw truth about immigration policies and updates, click on the subscribe button to our YouTube channel, or to figure out when we go live, right? And if you're thinking about immigrating permanently or temporarily, you're at the right place. We don't offer just immigration. We offer solutions. I can guarantee only 1 point. That's it. Just 1. Not 2, just 1. You'll know what to expect, the entire process clearly laid out for you, and all the risks identified, including costs. Our legal agreements are based on payment milestones, which are linked directly to your application progression, and we don't take 100% advance payment for business immigration applications. You're in full control of which program you choose for your immigration. We give you all the options you're eligible for, and then you decide. So, does your local immigration consultant do that? We have a $1 million liability insurance which protects you and us from fraud or mistakes, as well as a dedicated client trust account with our Canadian banks. Our team speaks over 9 languages, and we've helped applicants from over 50 different countries, and I'm not kidding. Get a free email assessment by filling out the form down below for eligible applicants only, folks. So you won't all get a free assessment if you're not eligible. And if you're ready to apply, you can book a one-on-one session with me or one of my licensed immigration team members, depending on your budget. And you can also book a session directly using the consultation link in the description of this video when it's posted on our YouTube and social media. And if you want to take our immigration knowledge for test drive because you're like, hey, I don't want to book one-on-one with you before I see you or hear you. Well, there you go. You can tune into our YouTube channel every week for a regular live stream where we answer all of your immigration questions for free on the spot. And subscribe to our YouTube channel to be notified what day of the week we'll be going live. So let's jump in. We don't have a lot of time today, unfortunately, because I'm on the road. So we'll just go through the questions and comments in our YouTube chat box with our live audience today. So Mumtaz Ahmad, sir, nice to see you, Mumtaz. Sir, apply virtual immigration Canada. What is update, please? Not sure what that is. Update for job, please spam mail address. Yeah, no, unfortunately, we don't do that, Mumtaz. Safa Saleh, good morning, Reza. It is early today. Yes, we're mixing it up, Safa. So people who are not subscribed to our YouTube channel will not know when we go live. Good to see you, but I know wherever you are, it's not going to be early. It's probably late afternoon. Nivkes Rajasekar Kumar. Hi, Reza. Once PR application drops through SUV, then how much time it will take to get a visa? Application drops through SUV. So you mean you have your PR approval, like passport request, or you mean you applied for a PR and you're waiting for a decision? Well, it takes up to 2 years if you didn't apply in 2020 or 2021. If you apply in 2022 onwards, it's going to take about 2 years to get your decision on your PR. If you already have a PR approval and a passport request within a month, depending on the embassy, you can get your passport and visa in the passport. Angel, good morning, Reza. Hey, Angel, nice to see you. It's been a while. My Angel 29. Hi, sir. I'm from the Philippines. Can an employer withdraw after they give a job offer and all the requirements under AIP? Yes, 100%, My Angel 29. Under any program which is employer-driven, PNPs, LMI exempts, LMIAs, AIPs, RNIPs, you name it. Okay, the employer at any point can withdraw their job offer. Okay, Chair Law is asking a question. Very valuable information. Thank you, Chair Law, for that positive comment. NVKS Rajaskar Kumar. I mean, like once PR application drops through SUV, we'll get open work permit, right? So how much will it take for that once application dropped? Application drop means you've submitted an application. Rajaskar, you don't get an open work permit right now as of February 22nd under the startup visa program. It's a closed work permit, and you have to apply after you apply your PR. You apply for your work permit. It can take anywhere from 2 to 4.5 months, depending on the embassy, your nationality, and your situation. Okay. Lisantropo 78. Nice to see you again, by the way. There's any news on the New Brunswick attestation letter for students? No news yet that I've heard of. As a master's student, am I free to open a business? Well, anyone can open a business. How much you work in that business is another question, and that's the deciding factor. Anyone, even if somebody is in college, can open a business. Whether you work on the business, how much you're allowed to work, different question. Nashwan Ali, hi Reza. Could you please share your thoughts about the predicted processing time for SUV applicants applied in 2021 and 2022? 2022, I would say within 2 years for PR. 2021, it's a mixed batch. They're processing them. You'll get it all this year. 2021 will be done this year. That's for sure, 100%. And then we got Angel. With an Indian passport and a valid U.S. tourist visa, can the first landing with valid COPR be done through U.S.? Yeah, it's entry into Canada, Angel. There's no like rule of you coming in from India directly. You could be in UK or Dubai or Singapore or Mexico or US. As long as you arrive from that country into Canada, you do your landing. Doesn't matter. Nashwan Ali, do you think IRCC reached the target of 3,500 PR approvals under SUV program in 2023? And will IRCC reach the target of 5,000 under SUV in this year? Well, it's going to be, I think they're on track. I don't know if they met their targets last year. It's not being confirmed, but they seem to have sped up the processing, Nashwan Ali, to receive, to reach these targets for PR applications under SUV. So it looks like they're on their way. Tarek Haraza, I'm a master's student in computer science planning to study in Canada. Is the BC postgraduate PNP the best and easiest way to get PR since it doesn't require job offer registration? Yes, Tarek. If you go in one of the approved programs of the BC PNP, right now it's one of the nicest STEM-based PNP direct to PR with no job offer. Read the requirements. It's very basic. And I believe that's one of the best programs. The second best would be Newfoundland. The third best, Ontario, which is points-based system. Safa Salah, RCC don't say they don't want a high degree for the essential applicant of SUV, but it is important to have. So RCC don't say you must have more than 20% of minimum funds, but they prefer that. RCC don't say the travel history should be diverse, but they like to do so. Why does this type of hidden criteria? It is not easy for everyone to understand the FCV successful rate. Yes, Safa, that is correct. That is the Canadian double standard system. We make things look nice and shiny, and then as people apply, we're like, oh, now there's a lot of people applying. Now we have to become more strict. So they come up with rules as they go. Okay. And I've told some consultation clients that basically SUV processing is like mutations of a virus. You know how like viruses mutate and they change, like the flu or COVID. It's the same with SUV processing for PRs and work permits. Every year or every 6 months, their standards change. Since last year, they've been calling people, interview calling them over the phone without advance notice. Now they're looking for all these other criteria, which are not documented, as you said, Safa, correctly, right? So it is a mutation every year, every 6 months. You got to keep on top of it. The only way you can do it is make sure you keep on applying for SUV. And I know as applicants, it's difficult. You're applying for yourself, right? And you want to get in, and you don't want to be dealing with surprises, and that's how kind of we guide our clients as well, based on the latest changes in SUV and how they process. So not website changes. I'm talking about officers, are they in a good mood? What have they learned in the last few years, and how have they changed their processing methods? This is all very interesting information. And like you said, Safa, it's all sort of in practice, nothing documented. Friday, Samuel, yeah, he will come. Okay, that's a cool name. That's what somebody's name is. And they're asking, good morning, sir. Please, how long does it take our refugee status to get PR? And is there any steps to take and get quick? Friday, Samuel, sorry, it is not my expertise. Asylum and refugee. That is one area that I don't specialize in, and I can't comment on that. So I do apologize. Nashwan Ali, does requesting a new medical exam indicate a positive sign for PR approval as the submitted one has become expired? No, it's a neutral sign. It's not 100% positive. It's not negative. So I can't say that it's 100% positive. Angel, might be a silly question. Hold on, folks. Give me one moment. I have to do a little bit of a movement here. Oh, here we go. Thanks. So we have another question. Friday, Samuel, Nashwan Ali. Angel, might be a silly question, but all the fuss over attestation letters and PGWPs are for international students. Anything to do with domestic students? No, Angel. I mean, that's just for international students. And that is only for new, not renewals. And that's only for people who are doing undergraduate, university, or college. And not related to master's, PhDs, primary, elementary, preschool, or people who are converting, or dependents of people who already have a study permit or work permit. So yeah. And PGWPs, obviously, there's some slight changes as well. Tarek, thanks for all the info, Reza. Love from Morocco. Nice. I like it. I like Morocco. I've never been there. I want to visit one day. Kubrom T. Hi, Reza. Thank you for your assistance. Is there a PNP to apply without a job offer? Yes. So Saskatchewan has one. There's some programs that select applicants from express entry based on specific occupations, like Nova Scotia, human capital stream, and OIMP. But it's a tough one. Like, you'd have to have very good profile in express entry, or you have to be a specific occupation, which in some cases you may not be. Saskatchewan is right now the only one that has a program without a job offer that you can do. And of course, there's entrepreneurial programs, graduate entrepreneurial programs, which you create your own job offer. Nashwan Ali, are the steps for processing express entry applicants similar to that for SUV? No. Very different, Nashwan Ali. That program is like, there's no discretionary power in express entry. It's just like whoosh, black and white, fast track. SUV is like a mess. Lisantropo, I will finish my master's in July, August this year. Thanks for everything, Reza. Thanks to you and Ingwe. You guys are the best. Immigration, it's hard, but it's worth the effort. Lisantropo, no, I'm glad. I'm glad you're on your way to graduating and slowly getting into figuring out work and PR. Yeah, it's tough. When you come here and you're in a grind for several years, you're a temporary resident, I know it's painful and it's frustrating. Alessandro, Viva Mexico. Yeah. Nice. Yeah, Mexico it is. I like it. Steve Kofi, good morning, sir. Please, after being granted a work permit, how long does it going to take for my PR granted? I came through Canada through the family class. It's usually less than 1 year. If you're inside Canada and they don't have doubts on your application, I've seen like 8 months, 10 months. But if there's doubts, they could even ask you for an interview inside Canada. But those are very special cases. We've handled those as well. But at the end of the day, it depends on the genuinity of your spousal or common law relationship. But if you're inside Canada, it's pretty quick, 8 months to 12 months. But around 10 months, you should get some news back. Tarek, is it true that now a 1-year master's will get you 3 years of PGWP? It is, Tarek, 100% it is with the new rules. But keep in mind, before, you could have done an accelerated 1-year program that was 2 years, but in 1 year, and still get the 3 years, just FYI. But now a 1-year executive program full-time can also give you a 3-year postgraduate work permit. So clarification on that. So folks, thank you. Today we got to run because Nova Scotia is waiting for me. A lot of work to get done in this province. Beautiful province in terms of immigration, and also beautiful people here as well. Very nice people. So if you're thinking about, hey, where should I immigrate? Trust me, nothing is happening in Toronto. It's just expensive. There's lots of crime and lots of people. Sure, if you've got family, I can understand. But if you're looking for a good province, I would say Alberta is great and Nova Scotia. Those are my top two. If I had to be recycled and come back to Canada and live somewhere, those would be the two places I would consider. Okay, not to offend any other provinces. I've lived in BC, I've lived in Quebec, and I've lived in Ontario. And I would not go back to any of those three provinces. No offense, folks. Okay. Tarek says, thank you back. And Nashwan Ali with the last question. Is processing of the medical exam, background check, personal information, and business progress occur at the same time or under the SUV? No, they don't actually happen at the same time. There's some concurrent events that do happen, right? But the business and personal information is processed at a certain stage. And then the background checks are happening at different times, but there are overlaps in certain ones like medical exams, especially if it's expiring. So we'd have to look into that in detail to do a step-by-step procedure. But again, it's all a big black box, until an officer actually sends you a letter with a permanent file number under SUV. Your file is stuck in limbo, and nobody's really looking at it at that point. So that's a problem with SUV. But first, folks, thank you for joining us. We'll be back next week, whether the same date or time, we don't know. Subscribe to our YouTube channel to be notified when we're online, and we'll see you back in Toronto very soon. Thanks for joining, folks. Take care. Have a good one. And remember, research, prepare, plan, and then apply. Don't skip to just apply. Take care, folks. Bye-bye.